The rain pelted the windshield in relentless sheets, blurring the neon glow of Portland's skyline as Emily Harper, 32, gripped the steering wheel of her beat-up Honda Civic. Her hazel eyes flicked to the dashboard clock. 5:47 p.m. Thanksgiving Day, 2025. What should have been a 45-minute drive from her downtown loft to her mother's suburban split level in Beaverton had ballooned into a soul-crushing 2.5 hours. Thanks to holiday traffic and Oregon's unforgiving November drizzle. Her shoulders knotted with tension. Her fingers ached. But she wasn't just tired, she was braced for a storm she couldn't name. On the passenger seat, a pecan pie, still warm from her oven, sat nestled beside a bottle of Pinot Grigio. Emily had spent hours perfecting the pie's buttery crust. A recipe her mother, Diane, once called better than grandma's. She wore her navy peacoat, the one Diane had complimented exactly once, saying it made her look like she had her life together. These were the scraps of approval Emily clung to, the faint hope that this Thanksgiving might mend the fractures in their family. But a gnawing instinct told her otherwise. She pulled into the driveway, the house's yellow glow spilling through the curtains. Laughter and the clink of glasses drifted out, a cruel contrast to the cold rain soaking her boots. Emily grabbed the pie and wine, squared her shoulders, and knocked. The door swung open, and there stood Diane, 58. Her face a mask of indifference, no smile, no warmth, not even the performative kind she'd muster for neighbors. Behind her, Lily, Emily's 27-year-old sister, leaned into view, her auburn hair catching the light, her smirk sharp as a switchblade. "You're not welcome here tonight," Lily said, her voice low but laced with venom, each word a deliberate cut. Emily froze, the pie tin cold against her palms. "What?" she managed, her breath catching. "You're joking, right?" Diane's eyes didn't soften. "It's better if you don't come in, Emily." Lily crossed her arms, her gaze mocking. "We're keeping it chill this year. No baggage." The word baggage hit like a fist to the gut. Emily's mind reeled. 2.5 hours in traffic. The pie she'd labored over. The wine she couldn't afford. All for this? "I drove across the city," she said, her voice shaking but firm. "I brought dessert. For you." Lily shrugged, leaning against the doorframe like she was bored. "Nobody asked you to waste your gas." The dismissal was a spark to dry tinder. Emily's temper flared, her words spilling out before she could stop them. "Fine, but don't expect the $1,500 I've been sending you every month." Diane's eyes widened, a flicker of shock breaking her stoic mask. Lily's smirk vanished, her lips parting as if to retort. But Emily didn't wait. She turned on her heel, the pie still in her hands, and marched back to her car. The door slammed shut behind her, the sound echoing like a gunshot in the quiet street. She slid into the driver's seat, the engine roaring to life as she peeled away, the pie sliding across the seat. Streetlights blurred through the rain, and the radio's soft indie tune felt like a mockery of her spiraling thoughts. She hadn't gone 2 blocks when her phone buzzed. She knew who it was before she glanced at the screen: Greg. Her 60-year-old father, who'd bailed on the family when Emily was 14 but loved to play patriarch when it suited him. She let it ring, her jaw tight, then answered at the last second. "Emily, what the hell's going on?" Greg's voice boomed through the car's speakers. "Your mom says you caused a scene. You need to grow up." She laughed, a brittle, bitter sound. "A scene?" "She locked me out, Dad, in the rain, with a pie I made for her. She's hurt," he said, steamrolling her words. "You're the oldest. It's on you to hold this family together." The phrase "hold this family together" was a knife twisting in her ribs. "Being the oldest doesn't mean I'm their bank account," she snapped. "I'm done. You're blowing this out of proportion," Greg said, his tone flat. "Family's family." She jabbed the end call button, her hands trembling. The drive back to her loft felt like wading through tar, the city's holiday lights mocking her with their cheer. When she finally parked, the lot was deserted, the rain a soft patter now. She sat there, staring at the pie, its perfect crust a silent witness to her humiliation. "I'm done saving people who'd let me drown," she whispered, the words settling like a vow. The next few days were a blur of autopilot, Emails answered. Coffee brewed. Life lived through a fog. Emily's phone buzzed constantly, each notification a fresh wound. By Saturday, the family group chat was a battlefield. Diane's message set the tone. I never thought my own daughter would abandon me on Thanksgiving. Lily piled on. Guess some people only care about their fancy downtown life. No loyalty. Cousins she hadn't seen in years joined the fray. Their words dripping with sanctimony. You forgot who raised you. On Instagram, Diane posted a Thanksgiving photo. Her, Lily, aunts, uncles, all beaming around a table laden with food. The caption was a gut punch. Thankful for the family who shows up. Some forget what matters. The comments were a pile on. Aunt Karen's, blood doesn't mean loyalty. Uncle Mike's, money can't buy a heart. Lily's, good riddance to bad vibes. Friends, neighbors, even her high school lab partner had liked or commented. The narrative hardening against her. Emily's chest ached as she scrolled. The betrayal sinking deeper. This wasn't just a holiday snub. It was a campaign to erase her. Sunday brought a new blow. An email from her HR manager, Sarah, at the marketing firm where she'd clawed her way to a senior role. Subject: Quick chat Monday. Hi Emily, can we touch base tomorrow? Just a small matter to discuss. Thanks, Sarah. Her stomach churned. She was meticulous at work, projects on time, clients happy. This wasn't about her performance. Monday morning, Portland's sky was a slab of gray as Emily walked into the office. Her boots clicking on the polished floor. Sarah's smile was polite but strained. This is awkward, she said, folding her hands. Your mom messaged me on LinkedIn. Said you've been distant. That she's worried you're not yourself. Mentioned you cut her off financially. Emily's breath caught. She contacted my HR manager? Her voice was a whisper. Disbelief warring with rage. Sarah nodded, her eyes soft but professional. It's unusual. I just needed to address it. Emily left the meeting feeling like she'd been gutted. Diane wasn't just shutting her out, she was sabotaging her career. Planting doubts in the one place Emily had built something solid. That night, the group chat lit up again. You broke mom's heart. You're selfish. All you care about is your paycheck. Each message was a stone piling on her chest. But beneath the hurt, a resolve was forming. They'd crossed too many lines. It was time to draw one of her own. 2 weeks later, the truth cracked open like a fault line. Emily was sipping coffee at her desk when a coworker, Jess, mentioned offhand, heard you're covering your nephew's preschool tuition. That's amazing. Emily's mug nearly slipped from her hands. What? Jess shrugged. Lily posted about it on Facebook. Said her kid's lucky to have you. The lie was a red flag. That night, fueled by sleepless fury, Emily dug into her financial records. At 1 a.m., she found it. A $4 payday loan in her name. Opened 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. The contact info wasn't hers, it was Lily's. Penalties had jacked the debt to $4,800. Her credit score, once pristine, was tanking. But that wasn't all. She traced the pattern: utility bills she'd paid for Diane, groceries she'd covered when Greg was between jobs, a car loan she'd co-signed for Lily, thousands of dollars, years of helping out, all weaponized against her. Her hands shook as she stared at the screen. The betrayal of physical weight. They never saw me as family, she whispered. Just a cash machine. She opened a text to Diane and Lily. Her fingers steady now. One more move, and I'm done. I'll burn this bridge and walk away. She hit send, her pulse thundering, and said aloud, next time, I'm not warning you. The attacks didn't stop. Lily's Instagram stories were relentless. Cryptic quotes about disloyal sisters. Photos of family brunches Emily wasn't invited to. Then came a bank alert. Someone had tried to open a credit card in her name, using Lily's email. At work, whispers followed her. Colleagues' glances turned cold. Conversations hushed when she approached. Sarah called her in again. Voice cautious. There's talk about your family drama affecting the team. Just keep it separate, okay? Emily was done being a punching bag. That night, she sat at her kitchen table, laptop glowing, and cut every financial cord. She canceled Diane's utility payments, stopped transfers for Lily's rent, removed Lily from her credit card, killed shared subscriptions, Hulu, Amazon, Spotify. Each click was a liberation. Then she drafted an email. Subject: final notice. You have 14 days to sort your finances. I'm not your ATM anymore. This ends now. She sent it, her breath evening out. The rain battered her loft's windows. But inside, the air felt lighter. She leaned back, watching the city's lights blur through the glass, and whispered, "You wanted me gone? Let's see how you manage without me." The rain had stopped, but the air in Portland hung heavy with the promise of another storm. Inside her downtown loft, Emily Harper, 32, stood at her kitchen counter, the glow of her laptop casting shadows across her face. It was mid-December 2025, and the city outside sparkled with holiday lights, strings of white bulbs draped over bare trees, storefronts aglow with wreaths and tinsel. But for Emily, the festive cheer felt like a cruel mirage, a reminder of the family she'd once believed in, now unraveling like a frayed sweater. Her phone lay silent, but she knew the quiet was a lie. They weren't done with her, not yet. 3 weeks had passed since Thanksgiving, since her mother, Diane, 58, and sister, Lily, 27, had slammed the door in her face, branding her unwelcome after a grueling drive and a pecan pie made with love they didn't deserve. Since then, Emily had uncovered their betrayal, a $4 payday loan in her name, opened by Lily, now ballooning to $4.800 with penalties, credit card fraud attempts, utility bills she'd paid, a car loan she'd co-signed, all pieces of a puzzle revealing years of exploitation. She'd cut them off financially, canceled every payment, every shared account, and sent a stark email: "You have 14 days to sort your lives. I'm done." But the silence that followed was too perfect, too tense, like the hush before thunder. It broke one frigid Saturday night with 3 sharp knocks on her door. Emily's heart lurched. She peered through the peephole, and her stomach twisted. Diane, Lily, and 2 cousins, Mark and Jenna, stood in the hallway, their faces a mix of rage and entitlement. The sight was a jolt, like stepping on a live wire. She cracked the door, her voice steady despite the tremor in her chest. "What do you want?" Lily pushed forward, her auburn hair damp from the drizzle, eyes blazing. "We're talking, Emily, now." Diane's voice was softer, practiced, the tone she used to guilt trip. "Sweetheart, we can't keep doing this. You're tearing us apart." Emily gripped the doorframe, her navy peacoat still hanging by the entry, a reminder of the Thanksgiving she'd tried to salvage. "Tearing you apart?" she said, her voice low but sharp. "You shut me out, stole from me, trashed my name, and now you're here for what? An apology?" Mark, 34, stepped closer, his jaw tight. "You think you're better than us, don't you, Miss Big Shot Marketing Exec? Cutting off your own family." Jenna, 29, chimed in, her voice dripping with scorn. "You're the one causing drama. Always have been." The accusations were a rehearsed chorus, but Emily felt something shift inside her, not fear, not guilt, but clarity. She opened the door wider, not to invite them in, but to face them head on. "I carried you all for years," she said, her voice rising, each word a hammer strike. "Bills, loans, groceries, rent. I gave you everything, and you called it my duty. You crossed every line, and I'm done pretending I don't see it." Diane reached for her arm, her eyes welling with crocodile tears. "I'm your mother, Emily. You can't abandon us." Emily stepped back, shaking off her touch. "You abandoned me first." She turned to Lily, whose glare could have burned through steel. "And you? Stealing my identity, tanking my credit? You're not my sister. You're a thief." Lily scoffed, stepping so close Emily could smell her floral perfume. "You think cutting us off makes you strong? You're nothing without us." Emily's laugh was cold, final. "I'm nothing with you." She swung the door wide, gesturing to the hallway. "Get out, all of you." Diane's face crumpled, but Emily saw the calculation behind her tears. Mark muttered something under his breath. Jenna rolled her eyes, but Lily lingered, her stare a challenge. "This isn't over," she hissed. "It is for me," Emily said, her voice a blade. They filed out, their footsteps echoing in the hall. She locked the door, the click louder than the city outside. Leaning against it, she exhaled, her breath ragged but free. "Next time," she whispered, "I won't just close the door. I'll burn the house down." The backlash was swift and vicious. By Monday, Emily's phone was a war zone. Lily had unleashed a smear campaign, texting friends, neighbors, even Emily's coworkers. Emily's turned her back on Mom. "She's heartless, only cares about money," Diane posted on Facebook, a Christmas brunch photo. Everyone smiling. Captioned, "Grateful for family who loves unconditionally. Some forget their roots." The comments were a knife twist. Aunt Karen's, "Some people think they're too good for us." Uncle Mike's, "Sad when blood betrays you." Lily's, "Good riddance to selfish vibes." Strangers, old classmates, church acquaintances, piled on. Their likes and shares burying Emily in a narrative she couldn't control. At work, the air shifted. Colleagues at the marketing firm, once friendly, now avoided her gaze. Sarah, her HR manager, pulled her aside, voice cautious. "I've heard rumors about family issues impacting your work. Let's keep personal stuff separate, okay?" Emily nodded, her throat tight. But the sting was real. Diane had emailed Sarah, spinning tales of Emily's instability. The betrayal had breached her sanctuary, threatening the career she'd built from nothing. But cracks in their facade began to show. A barista Emily knew from her coffee shop texted, "Hey, I saw your sister's posts. Sounds like BS. You okay?" A neighbor messaged, "Your mom's been talking trash. But I'm not buying it." The truth was seeping out. And Emily wasn't alone anymore. Then came the final blow. One Tuesday, an email from her bank landed like a grenade. "Urgent, debt collection notice. $4,800 owed on a payday loan." It was Lily's fraud, now in collections, her refusal to pay a deliberate middle finger. That night, Lily texted the family group chat, "You think you can humiliate us? We'll make sure everyone knows who you really are." Diane followed, "You're destroying this family. We'll fight back." Emily didn't flinch. She spent hours compiling evidence, loan documents, fraud alerts, screenshots of texts, Facebook posts, emails. She printed it all, the stack a testament to their deceit. Then she wrote 2 letters. The first, to Diane and Lily. "I'm filing a police report for identity theft and fraud. Any further contact is harassment. This is your last warning." The second, to the Portland Police Department, was clinical, every detail laid bare. Filing against her own family felt like carving out a piece of her heart. But survival demanded it. The consequences came fast. By late January 2026, Lily was formally charged with identity theft and financial fraud. The retail chain where she worked fired her, citing ethical violations. Whispers spread of a custody battle. Lily's ex, armed with the charges, was fighting for their son, Ethan. Diane's carefully curated world crumbled. Neighbors stopped inviting her to book clubs. Church friends unfollowed her online. Greg, Emily's father, left a voicemail, his voice thick with anger. "You've ruined us. Emily, this is on you." She deleted it without replying. Emily took her own steps toward freedom. She blocked Diane, Lily, and the cousins, deleted the group chat, and moved to a new apartment, a cozy studio in southeast Portland. No spare keys left for anyone. She signed up for a weekend baking class, savoring the smell of fresh dough and the chatter of strangers who didn't know her past. Therapy sessions, twice a month, helped her untangle years of guilt. She reconnected with old friends, their laughter a balm to her scars. The world felt quieter, lighter, hers. One February evening, a message from Claire, her cousin's wife, lit up her phone. "You did what I never could. You stood up to them. You're not alone." Emily stared at the words, tears pricking her eyes. For so long, she'd felt like a ghost in her own life. But now she was seen. She typed back, "Thank you. I'm learning to live for me." That night, as Portland's skyline glittered beyond her window, Emily sat with a glass of wine. The silence no longer oppressive. She'd bled for a family that never bandaged her wounds. But she'd stopped the bleeding. The scars would linger, but so would her freedom. "Hey, you out there," she said, as if speaking to an invisible audience. Her voice steady. "I used to think family meant carrying everyone's weight, no matter how much it crushed me. But family isn't blood, it's the people who respect your boundaries. Who lift you without demanding you shrink. If you've ever chosen yourself after years of choosing others, I see you. If you've walked away from love that felt like chains, you're not alone. Drop a 1 in the comments if you've taken that step. Tell me where you're watching from, or share your story. How did you find your freedom? And if this story doesn't vibe with you, that's cool too. Tell me why. Let's talk. Hit subscribe if you want more real, raw truths like this. Because here, we don't hide from the hard stuff, we face it.